It includes a couple of thousand people who could be said to be in climate science. Most of them are not climatologists. Climatology is a relatively small field. But again, as Professor Lindzen told us, this field is failing. It's in trouble because too many of the people in that field have succumbed to the search for fortune and glory, grants and notoriety, and too few are among the principal people that are here today and elsewhere that have held to their science. So it's completely appropriate when a small field of science is hijacked by politics. It's very appropriate for tens of thousands of physicists and chemists and astronomers and mathematicians to come to the rescue of that small field, to support the men who are still principled and to oppose those who are not. So it is correct, this petition contains mostly, or to a large extent, scientists from other fields. What's at stake? There are several things at stake. This description by Al Gore that's silly. It's just silly. It's not science. And the IPCC isn't any better. It's the same thing with more window dressing. And first, they wish to tax and ration our energy. And if there's one thing you can control human beings more effectively with than controlling their banking, you can control their energy. We've seen what can be done with banking. As the United States shipped more and more of its industry abroad, as we produced less and less energy, we had to import these things, and we traded our goods for the energy we needed abroad. Then we started to run out of things to trade, so we got a huge trade deficit, and we funded that with debt. And now we all see where that has gotten us. They won't take our debt anymore. Sometimes I say the end of this is outsourcing. To finish the outsourcing, we need to have the Chinese make our money. If they print our money, they can pay themselves and send us the goods. It's simple. But freedom, this is not a comment against the Chinese. They've made the goods. But our freedom and our prosperity depend upon winning this fight. These people not only do not want us to replace that 30% of energy that we are not producing, they want us to close our coal plants and produce no nuclear plants and make that pie get bigger and bigger and bigger. And first, of course, the cost of energy will go through the roof, and then we'll have rationing. And once they can ration our energy, our freedom is gone. But there are people who will suffer more. In our own society, those who are prosperous will be less prosperous. And those on the lower end of the economic ladder, those that politicians have been using to claim that they can take the wealth of the wealthy and give it to them, those people will suffer the most because the marginal utility of their money is much less than those who are prosperous. But in the rest of the world, it means a lot more. We have one example of genocide by technology, by withdrawal of technology, and that is DDT. Even though the EPA's own scientific review board told them that they shouldn't ban it, it was a useful, harmless substance, even though it resulted in a Nobel Prize, even though the National Academy of Sciences said hundreds of millions of lives were saved by DDT, they banned it. And the United States agencies extended that ban through their power throughout the world. And the result has been 30 or 40 million children dead, and over 500 million human beings sick at this time because of DDT-preventable malaria. This is technological genocide. It is genocide by withdrawal of technology. And now they've got something even better for the survivors. The third world, the people, billions of people who have been lifting themselves from poverty by the application of energy and technology. The technology and energy they have is just enough to provide them with food and shelter. They sit on the lowest ladder of human existence, and they're pulling themselves up into better and better world. These people, if we're deprived of energy, will simply die. Hundreds of millions of them. And we can't send them energy and not the United States. Energy is fungible. It travels throughout the world. If industrialized nations are restricted in their energy and their energy is rationed, those people are going to die in huge numbers, far beyond anything we've seen with DDT. And nor was DDT an accident. Oh yeah, we did something, it didn't accidentally, we didn't know we'd kill all those people. I'm sorry, it went on year after year, decade after decade. And only now is beginning to stop. largely because of the efforts of CORE, Paul Dreesen and Roy Innes, who have reversed this. Now, Jim Hansen has said that everyone who opposes the hypothesis human-caused global warming, a failed hypothesis, but everyone who opposes it, he said that we should all be tried for crimes against humanity. Jim's sort of, you know who he is, he's sort of the Rasputin of the U.S. Congress. He appears, but really, I think that he and Al Gore should look in the mirror if anyone's going to be talk about crimes against humanity, because the restriction of humanity's energy supplies, regardless of how much the elite that promote this might benefit from rationing and controlling energy, the human effects and the human cost is enormous. The only solution to these problems is not some policy thing, it's not some little law we can pass, it's not some little fix you can make in what they're trying to do. The only solution to this is to give us our freedom back. The producers of the United States, the engineers and scientists in our generations who have the same abilities as the engineers and scientists in previous generations that built our petrochemical industries, that built our energy industries, that built the infrastructure that gives us our lives, the representatives of those people in our current generations must be freed from the taxation and regulation and litigation that they currently are suppressed by, so that they can solve not only our energy problem, but also our other problems in economics. It's absolutely essential that these people be beaten. Otherwise, we'll find ourselves enslaved. There's nothing but slavery ahead for those whose energy is rationed by others. So please, don't let them do it. Thank you.